Hey everybody, Jim here. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, MuseScore's been around for a while. They've really improved, and with the unfortunate passing of Finale, MuseScore is getting more and more popular. I use a lot of softwares. I love composing. I love arranging, and I've been an educator for 30 plus years. I share that because so much has changed, and if you can get into some MuseScore, it can really help with your instruction. And today I'm going to go over some basic layout features. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to make this like a series, if you will. So I'm going to start off pretty simple, but reach out if you have questions. I'm going to go ahead and just shrink my face, okay? And then I have a score open here. Any score will do. I just have an example. We're going to go to the layout, and it's usually at the very bottom. If you don't have layout for whatever reason, it's probably under add palettes, and then look for layout that way. And then when you click on it, layout will be at the top. All right, so I've put a lot of time into softwares, and it's kind of a geek hobby of mine in a way, but a good thing, because I'm telling you, I'm writing a lot of parts. In the layout, when you open it up, we're gonna just focus on the first top. I'm not gonna talk about the spacers right now, because that's a hate-love relationship. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I've seen a lot of users paint themselves in the corner with spacers. It's kind of a video within itself. All right, this is a newer feature, and I'm using MuseScore 4, by the way. One of the most recent updates. I don't always update because shortcuts change, but it's fairly updated. This is exactly what it means, but there's some caveats to it. You can go ahead and, let's say I want to put all these measures on a system. So I have the Shift key down, I click that, and then if I click this, it will all shrink. There's been some times where it won't do it, and I don't know exactly why. I don't use this feature often. I could see why it's pretty cool. And then I'm just gonna Command Z to get out of it. But that one's pretty self-explanatory. This one is like my main squeeze, system break. System break's really important because you're basically, whether it's a part where I have a part here, if I click on this bar, you can see it right here, and if I click on system break, it will just make that line 2 measures. And I wanted to go to a part quickly because MuseScore sees that staff as a system versus we might see a system if we're doing scores or like a grand staff, piano, and whatnot. This is something I use all the time. Whether I should or not, I don't know, but I get the job done. I'm going to go over here. Here is what the symbol looks like for a system break. If I delete that, it will go back to whatever original state it was. So just keep that in mind. Not a big deal if that happens. You can just Command Z or Control Z. And then I want to talk about page break, and then the last two is a little interesting. Page break is great. Page break is basically if you're going to need to write some stuff or you need some room, I'm going to click here, and if I click on this page break, they'll move the other 4, I can count, the other 3 measures to the next page. That's what it means, but you also have to be aware that page break is important, but you want to make sure when you're doing it, you have enough real estate on what you're moving because you're going to go into a lot of pages. The other thing I wanted to mention, if you want to get rid of that, you can just go ahead and delete it. So that's what's really cool about MuseScore. You can just delete the layout tools and then it will go back. The next one, I recommend the system break, page break once in a while. This one I don't like, section break. However, if you're writing exercises, it can work for you. Now, what's cool about the this one here, section break, yes, exercises are good and it gives an indent. And I've seen some learners, I teach a little composition, they use that so it gives a cool section break. And it looks like, oh, it's fancy, now we're gonna add a coda. I'll show you what I mean. So all these tools, you highlight the bar, I'm gonna press this section break, and then you can see this moves in a little bit. Really cool. But don't use that because this is where a lot of amateur users will go into a situation. Section break changes the bar number count. So here's my math. We got 4 bars here, right? This should be 5, 6, 7, and then if we go here, it's 8. Nope. This is measure 4 because that section break says, hey, we're going to be counting this measure as 1 now. 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So that's really cool. if you're doing exercises and you are aware, because I've seen this over and over again, you've got 300 measures, and then there's the section breaks, because it was kind of cool where we had these indents. You just messed up all the measures. And I've just seen that a few times, so I wanted to talk about it. The lock tool I don't use. I do use it when I'm really done, if I've done the engraving and all that, and I use the lock tool to let me know that I have worked on everything, it's all done. I'm sure there's other great musicians using MuseScore and compositional people that use the lock tool, and they could get into it. And I wanted to show something with the lock tool. So I just locked all those measures and I selected them, kind of like section break. Now watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and just click the first measure. So that should all be locked. But if I go to system break, it still breaks. So now if I go to, I'm gonna click all these measures. If I go down here to where it says keep measures on the same system, it won't do it because it's locked, but watch, it probably will, but no, it doesn't. Phew, I don't want to make a complete fool of myself. So it locks some of the tools, but not all of them. All right, hopefully this is helpful. I know it's 2025, almost 2026, but if you like my content, hit the like button. It helps out, reach those other people. And if you have any requests, great. But down the road, I'm gonna be doing layout on the other stuff and really get into some nitty gritty that can save you a lot of time. All right, all for now, bye-bye.